Hello and welcome to SHADOWCRAFT episode 23. It's still freaking me out working this high. Anyway, so last episode I actually went through and I went hunting for some animals, mainly some cows, and I got some giant lizards and stuff. And I was going to make a farm, and I was actually planning on doing that at this episode. Something has occurred to me, however. I don't think I have the will to terraform enough stuff to make like a flat area for a big farm. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take advantage of some other plans that I've not put through yet. Namely being the storage room under my little tower here. Let's go down the hole. I still need to finish this. The crates went away due to a config error on my part. So anyway, this is on Y level 57 for feet, so that's good. And let's go over to the factory to be. And, oh, hello, fire zombie. Okay, we're just coming on over here. So what I'm thinking about doing, if these levels match out or they're even close, is I might actually connect these things together. Ignore the textures there. I updated ICBM, and it is a development build, so it's not quite right. You know, I had put torches down here before. Alright, anyway, so this is, again, Y57, so that works out great. So what I'm thinking of doing, actually, is creating a little underground area in this general bit here, connecting together my factory when it's done, my tower, and hosting a subterranean farm for animals and stuff. And while I do like building stuff like outdoors and stuff, it's just... Oh! What... Oh, hey, Dark Mage. While I do like building outdoors and stuff, I don't want to go crazy knocking down areas and flattening stuff. And when it comes to a, say, animal farm, I do need a bit of space, and I don't think I'd like to clear that much room to make it work. Where did you get an enchanted pick?
Here.
Okay. Oh, and another one. Anyway, so before I end up a toasty critter, thanks to these zombies, what I'm going to do is I need to... You know what? Forget it. I have what I need. Whoa! Okay. No! I don't like this guy. Let's see if we can just leave him right away. Luckily, I should be dead on dirt, so I can punch that up, and these guys should not be on fire. Oh, there goes my XP. Come on, die, skeleton. Thank you. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the stuff back. Oh yeah, I have to dig out. There we go. And I have an arrow in my head. Alright, so let's go ahead and change this back to recipe. I was going to try to replace the concrete that turned into this texture right here, but unfortunately it's all like that. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing is just coming down here and getting started with the general area of what I'd like to do by doing the only thing that comes natural to me, which is making a big hole. I think it's this spell, right? I don't know what's up with this. When I first had this, it would display the name of the spell when I scroll through, but for some reason now it's not showing up. And I think it's this one for the... Yeah, there we go. Alright, so I'm actually thinking this would probably be good as like a 5x5 tunnel between the areas, and then I could decorate that as needed. The main thing that I'm going to run into... There we go. The main thing that I'm going to run into is I want to make sure I keep the ground relatively level where I'm at right now. So this is actually not quite right because I need it shifted up a little bit more too, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah, no, so that road would have to go as well. So I'm aiming here, I need to aim there. On the bright side, while doing this, I'll get a chance to clear out some of these holes that are spawning mobs everywhere. Alright, so I'll tell you what, I am going to go ahead and get started excavating the basic, holy... I'm going to get started excavating the basic area for this stuff, and I will go ahead and join up with you after I get a little bit of order put to this. For now, though, it's probably going to be bare stone hallways with torches, and then I'll work on making it look better afterwards. Alright, so welcome back to my tunnel slash hole slash mistake. So I actually managed to go ahead and I dug out a fairly good portion of the ground here, connecting my little mage tower over to the factory where I'm going to have my ore processing set up. It'd be nice if I could make it through one episode without stumbling over my tongue. Anyway, so this is really a pretty clean cut straight through. I mean, I didn't run into anything that I need to worry about rerouting around, so that's good. And here's the little water turbines and stuff. If you look up, you can see the bugged concrete texture and some barrels. What I had been thinking of doing was leaving this as a fairly long hallway and building the animal area as its own little section, probably like off this way over here. However, I've run into a problem of that being that this ceiling level right here is actually destroying the water by the bridge I made. And I could just continue doing this and say F it, but I gotta be honest with you, I want to keep this intact. I don't like the way that looks. I don't want to have to either say raise the water level or anything like that. So I think I'm actually going to scrap this tunnel. Well, first let's plug this tunnel and then we'll scrap this tunnel. And torches too. Okay, we're good there. So I think we're going to forget this tunnel, say, nope, that was a mistake. Well, we've learned our lesson and we'll move on. So what I'm going to do, rather than worry about, because I know now that I can't go into this area at all, the water is too shallow. What I can do, though, is if we come over here, everything to my right is pretty much fair game. There is a little bit of a chasm over here, a ravine or whatnot, but I mean, I can deal with that, and it's not going to really ruin anything if I dig that way. I can also, if I if I think of it later, what I'm thinking of doing is adding access to the charcoal factory over here as well. I want to be able to have the line of the transport pipes to be able to run in there as well. That way I can interconnect everything. Alright, so now the reason that I wanted this area, like I mentioned before in passing, was I would like to have an animal farm. And since it's too much of an effort to clear out the overworld to level it down, we're using our handy little spell here. We're digging it manually. I'd like to be able to set up at least 4 pens of animals. Each pen is going to end up taking up approximately a 7x7 area. That's allowing a fence for containment. So if I build it into a wall, it's going to be smaller. Doing that, I'm going to need about 4 pens, maybe 6. I figure I'll need a pen for breeding cows, a pen for the cow babies, a pen for sheep, a pen for pigs, and a pen for, I really don't need to use pigs. I would like to, just to have a little bit of variety, but I mean, it really doesn't matter. I can just do more cows, because I will need to grow food for them, and if I do pigs, I'll have to grow wheat and carrots instead of just growing wheat. Well, anyway, even doing that, we're still going to need 2 pens of cows, which means we're going to need 4 just for the cows between them and their babies, and then the sheep. And then we might want another one if we decide to set up something to maybe get ink or whatnot, though I gotta be honest, I've not had any issues getting ink. Anyway, so for the general size that we're going to need, it's going to need to be a fairly good size, allowing for the pens a little walkway and the pens again. We're going to be looking at a space about like a 17 by 17 area. And I do want to have like a little bit of a lip between the start of this area and the start of the pen. So I want this like offset a little bit, or, well, I suppose this is okay. I could probably push this wall out just a little tiny bit. Well, not quite here, but yeah, general idea. So let's actually see how long this is. So we are at right here is, see, this is wall. This is also technically wall, so right here's the first spot. So this is 19. So that's roughly 21. So that's actually a pretty good amount of space, and then it has this extra stuff. You know what, that's going to work. That'll work fine. So what we'll do is we'll leave a 3 border from this. So we'll do 3 as in 1, 2, 3. So right here will be the starting of the excavated area. And let's get that off there. And the way that I've been doing this is just making use of a little bit of magic. And this is dead simple when done this way. And as long as I don't accidentally leave a huge gash in my floor. Alright, so as you can tell, I probably got quite a bit of excavation ahead of me yet. I need to go ahead and clear out this area. Oh, you get weird things when you have that NEI spawn things enabled and they just flash like that. That's kind of creepy. Alright, anyway, I will be back after I get a little bit more of this excavated. So this may not look like much, but this chamber right here is going to be my animal farm. I went ahead and I got the basic layout that I'm going to need to do. This is a 5 by 5 area of dirt, so I can get the spacing right. And then we can just see the 4 pens on this side and then 4 pens on this side. There's a little bit of extra space here. I'm thinking I might just either bring that in or space this out a little bit more intelligently. I'm not too terribly worried either way. I mean, if I wanted to, if I move this over, I could have 2 spaces here, which would make this look a little bit better, but then I would have a 1 wide space, and it's not too terribly useful. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that later. I may just bring the wall in. Anyway, so what I'm actually going to go do is, I would like to make this look better, but first I want it to look functional. And what that means is I need to actually go ahead and craft up some machines from Mine Factory Reloaded. Specifically, I'm going to need some breeders, which I made 1 already. I need to make some more. I'm going to need breeders. I'm going to need some chronotypers. I'm going to need quite a bit of stuff. Some ranchers, some grinders, and eventually a slaughterhouse. Though I'm not too terribly worried about the slaughterhouse aspect of this just yet. It's more of the grinder for the leather and the harvester for the wool. Because right now the only thing I have on me is cobblestone. So as it turns out, this episode is going to be going out a little bit late. Hopefully this does not become a pattern, and I'm a little bit sorry about this. So what I have done, I went ahead and I expanded this room out, and I've gone ahead and put down some grass and some dirt. I had to use my Silk Touch iron pick that I got from that named mob a while ago. It's currently repairing inside of the thing up there. And we're just waiting for some of this grass and stuff to spread. I did also go ahead and I made up a bunch of machines to use in here, and this is partially why this took so long. I ended up having to go on another mining trip to get additional iron. So I have a ton of stuff here. We have some liquid routers, sewers, ranchers, grinders, chronotypers, breeders, slaughterhouse, some upgrades, the tin upgrades are for the... Where'd they go? The tin upgrades here are for the harvester and the planter, which is going to be for wheat, which will be fueling the entire breeding process. We got some batteries here, some turbines, some boilers and boiler tanks and stuff. What I did forget to get was a thing of water and some gutters. I need to get those. The composter will hopefully take advantage of the animals I am breeding up and allow me to actually make some fertilizer to speed up the growth of the wheat, but I really don't need it for now. Worst case scenario, I think it also counts as brown dye. Let's actually find out. Let's fertilize. So yeah, it counts as brown dye, so I can dye things by smearing poo on it. So that's great. Oh, that's terrible. Anyway, so basically the way that we're going to have this set up is in the middle of each of these we're going to have a thing of a sewer. And I could offset it down a little bit, but I want this place to look kind of clinical. That's why it's got the white walls, it's got the dark floor. So I want it to look like the animals are being exploited. And I want it to be a really sad place for them. So we're just going to go and put these in. I might have made a mistake by putting the basalt down before actually doing any of the pipes and stuff, because this stuff, when you break it, it goes to cobblestone, so I'd have to put it back through a furnace to get it back to this texture. I mean, it's not a terrible thing, but it was a stupid oversight. Alright, so we got those in. In general, I would like to have the cows, let's see how this is spaced up, 4, okay, and then 2 and 2. Alright, so what I'm thinking is I want to have cows on either side of here. So cows here and then cows over there. And then we can have sheep and... well, we don't really need chickens. If I ever get mushrooms, I can have mushrooms. Or better yet, I could have multiple colors of sheep. That's interesting. You know what? If I were smart, I would have saved one of these spaces to be used for squid. For now, we'll leave this one empty and see what comes of it. Alright, so this grass is not growing yet, which is rather annoying. This grass is growing though. So come with me, cows. Oh, before I get too far into this, I'm also going to need the... Where'd you go, harvester? Rancher, grinder. Chronotyper. Breeder. Okay, and slaughterhouse. Now the reason I'm doing this from 2 different cow pens is I would like to gain the sewage from each pen. Plus, I don't want to have a single chronotyper splitting babies between a slaughterhouse and a grinder. While they're both going to die and they're both going to have bad days, it's just easier for me if I have 2 separate pools being pulled. Alright, so how are we going to do this? So right here is the general area. If we go ahead and probably put the breeder right in the wall over here. I think it might work if it's elevated. You want to guess which way that is? It's the wrong way. There we go. I have any torches to put back there temporarily. I need to fill these holes in later, just not quite yet. Okay, so we got a breeder. Good, that'll run off of wheat and power to create super cows. I didn't need to do that. Chronotyper. The only problem I'm going to run into with the chronotyper is that I believe that it would be better on the bottom, but then they can walk on top of it. Because if it's on the bottom, I can just run a conduit to the bottom of it to provide power. Anyway, moving babies, so that's good. And then over here, we're going to put a chronotyper. Sure, let's make this a slaughterhouse. Yeah, I did it again. Yeah, we're not going to mention that. Alright, so the slaughterhouse actually does not have a range upgrade. I'm not sure what its range is, so I might need to redo the pen for the slaughterhouse. It might need to be a 3x3. For now, we're going to leave it like that, though. Alright, so we got breeder, chronotyper, slaughterhouse, and we're just going to do the basic same thing over here, except it's going to be me putting it down right the first time. Except for the fact that that is a chronotyper. Oh, jeez. Okay, breeder. Chronotyper. And grinder. Alright, so that's basically how it's going to go for those. Those holes will get filled in, but I need to run wiring and some pipes and stuff behind there. I would like to be able to wick off the, I need to get the meat out of this thing, which means I'll need to make use of some liquid routers. I don't have enough of those quite yet. And for the breeder, I don't need to do anything except input wheat and power, so that's easy. This just takes power. The grinder over here will actually output items, input power, and output mob essence. So I'm going to need to be able to run some stuff off of this thing, so I am probably going to need to make use of some micro blocks so that I can hide some wiring on this. So anyway, those are the actual setup for the cows. I'm not going to put cows in there quite yet. Alright, so for what else do I have? I have a... get out of my hand. Alright, got a rancher, got a harvester. Okay, so for now we're just going to go for the rancher. And the rancher is just going to go right over here. And we're not going to make the same mistake. Alright, so this will be a sheep pen. This thing will just basically produce wool. And it will make a lot of wool, by the way. If I wanted to, I could actually hook this thing up into a pen that has cows, and I could actually gain milk that way as well. So, I mean, if I wanted to, like, I'll use this as the main breeding pen for cows for the slaughterhouse over there. I could put a rancher in the wall over here and just also get milk off of them, though to be honest, I don't think I have any real uses for liquid milk. The slaughterhouse is mostly so that I can eventually get pink slime, which I'll be honest is a very long way away from being practical, but it's something I'd rather get started on now than have to worry about when I want it. So anyway, so we have that set up. That leaves 3 unused pens. Like I said, I might turn one of these into a squid tank so that I can get ink, because ink is actually quite useful. I mean, who doesn't want dye? And the option remains, I can actually knock out one of these pens. If I do that, though, it's going to look kind of lopsided. Who cares if it's lopsided? I could knock out one of these pens and have like a little in-place storage area so that I can like see what I have over here while hooking it up to a transport pipe network. You know what? There's also something else I could do. I don't really need chickens, but feathers aren't a terrible thing to have. So I might get some chickens down here too. Tell you what, yeah, we'll do chickens in here. I don't know if chickens actually do anything special with Mine Factory Reloaded, so it's probably going to be a bit of a crapshoot. Alright, let's go ahead and get some of these upgrades out. So, iron, iron, tin, tin. Okay, so I believe these are actually for the sewers. We want to make sure that these sewers cover the entire area that the animals can walk around in. And I need a lot more of these things. Alright, so while I'm not planning on actually getting this stuff finished today, so just go ahead and come in here. So I'm walking around. Is this actually getting any poo? No. Let's go ahead and put down some cows. There we go. Fluid MFR liquid sewage still. That's certainly an interesting name, but yeah, they're generating poo. Quite quickly at that. This thing will also, as the cows are bred, occasionally there will be a little XP that drops, and this thing will suck it up as well, which will also go towards the main pool of XP. Oh, I forgot about you guys. You're going to jump the fence, aren't you? Do I have any more? I don't. Alright, so please forgive the ugliness for now, but I'll fix that later. Actually, let's hop the fence and then fix it later. Alright, so those guys are good to go for now. I know you want to get out, you can't. You're going to stay in there, you're going to have a great life, you're going to have a little bit of, you're going to have some babies, we're going to probably build you up a little bit, maybe get Tenya in here. And then we're going to slaughter your children for meat. Delicious meat. And then part of your kids are going to go over here, and then we're going to slaughter them for leather. It is truly a wonderful thing. Alright, so if you notice, I have not actually gone through and I've not decorated this yet. I have some ideas of what I want to do. I'm actually considering using some of the glowstone bricks from Mine Factory Reloaded. Where are they? Here they are. I mean, they're really easy to make. You get 4 glowstone and a stone brick of some sort. You get 8 of these things. And they do give off light, so I think it would be a good way to light up the hallway without having to just plaster the thing with torches. Maybe just have like a stripe of glowstone bricks and some other pattern with it. I think it might look pretty nice. Alright, so I actually need to do some more work on here until it's going to be a bit of a boring work, so even though this is going to be a short episode, I'm going to go ahead and call it for now. I want to thank you for watching this episode of SHADOWCRAFT. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a message below, and as always, have a good day.